What's up, YouTube? Today I want to talk to you guys about how you can better protect your tomato plants from blight and all kinds of fungus and disease. So the first thing is you probably have all the necessary ingredients right in your medicine cabinet. It's pretty simple. You need water and aspirin. That's it. That's all you're gonna need. So also you're probably gonna need a sprayer, something similar to this. This one cost me 12 bucks at my local garden center. If you don't have one of these, don't want to invest in one of these, you can accomplish the same thing with something like that. Although it's not going to be as efficient. You're not going to get your solution all over the leaves and all over the plant, and a lot more of it is going to be wasted. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open this aspirin up. And we're going to take one aspirin, pitch it in the water, wait for that to dissolve. Now you're probably wondering, what does that do? Well, what we're going to do here is we're trying to trigger the plant's immune system. You can look this up, SAR tomato plant, Google it. Systemic acquired response. That is already within the plant, so when it gets attacked, if it gets a fungus, it does this on its own. But the problem is, once the plant has already, once blight or fungus has already set in, it's too late, right? So what we want to do is trigger this response before we have any problems with blight or anything like that. So the chemical compounds in aspirin are similar to the chemical compounds that the plant puts off when it's being attacked, right? So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to trick these tomato plants into thinking that they are being attacked. That way they are already on high alert and their immune system is boosted for when fungus or anything like that does come in contact with them. So while we're waiting for that aspirin to dissolve, let's go ahead and talk about some other methods that you can use in addition to using aspirin to trigger the plant's immune system. So you'll see here, I've got heavy, thick mulch around these plants. This is a disease barrier. This acts as a disease barrier. It's actually beneficial in a lot of different ways. I'll go over those with you here in just a minute. But this acts as a disease barrier to keep the leaves from coming into contact with the soil. Because a lot of your diseases that you're going to get in tomato plants are soil-borne diseases. So make sure you put a heavy, thick mulch down. Now you can buy it, or you can do what I do, and you can pretty much get it for free. What I'll do when I need more mulch for my plants is I will let the yard grow a few days longer than I ordinarily would. The grass gets taller, I mow it, I rake it up, I bag it, I come out here and I put it around my plants, right? And so some of the other benefits of this is, like I said, it's a disease barrier. It also holds moisture in the soil. And there's some, it's also, you know, it's a compost. It's organic matter. So when you till it in at the beginning of the next season or at the end of the current season, it will break down and put nutrients into the soil. Another thing you can do, let's see, if you look here, yeah, you can see where I have clipped the bottom leaves off. Any leaves or branches that are close to the ground, really close to the ground, or are touching the ground, get rid of them. It's not going to hurt your plant. Your blossoms and that come off of your main stem. Now a lot of people, you'll see here, I didn't do too high up. A lot of people will go all the way up, and the only thing they'll leave is these top leaves here. I don't quite feel comfortable doing that. So I just take the ones that are closest to the ground or most you know, susceptible to touching the ground or getting splash from the ground up on them. I take those off. And I'll do it slowly. I won't just take them all off at once. I'll do a branch today, and then tomorrow I'll come back out and do it, so we're not putting the plant through too much trauma all at once. It also increases airflow under the plants so that the air can get up on the leaves and dry them off, because the biggest problem, the biggest contributing factor to blight is wet leaves and dark conditions. So that's another thing. If you water your plants, don't water them at night. The best time to water them is in the morning before the sun comes up. So they have plenty of time to dry before nighttime. Because wet and dark conditions are where the blight thrives, right? Just like what I'm doing here today, I'm going to be spraying this solution of aspirin and water on all of my tomato plants. The best time to do that, you don't want to do it when the sun, another time you don't want to water too, is when the sun is beating down on the plant. Because it can burn the leaves. So the best time to do something like this is when it's kind of, it's not too hot, it's kind of overcast, and that's kind of my conditions today. As you see, we just had a storm that just passed us over. And we got clear skies this way, but it's still kind of cloudy. It's not real hot out here. It's pretty overcast. It's mildly sunny. So now would be a good time to do it. Yeah, and that's about it. So let me go ahead and get this solution ready, and I'll be back to show you how to apply it. Okay guys, I'm back. I got the aspirin all dissolved. I got my sprayer primed and ready to go. Another note, if you have one of these sprayers and you use them for pesticides or anything like that, make sure that you really rinse it out well and flush the lines. I don't use any kind of pesticides or insecticides or anything like that, but I do sometimes put vinegar and or salt or a combination of the two in there for weed control. And I always make sure I flush it out real well before I do anything like this. So, alright, so let's go ahead and apply this mixture. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure you soak the leaves. Make sure you get it all over the leaves, because you want that plant to absorb that active ingredient in there, in the aspirin. Get it on the stem, get it on the leaves, get down low, get up high, get it all over the place. You just gotta want to make sure you spray it really well. Even get up under the leaves, get up down below, like that. Alright. Just make sure you give it a good covering. Now you may notice that your tomato plant's leaves are getting greener and thicker and bushier after you apply this. That's all right. That's what is supposed to happen. Now don't forget guys, this is backed by scientific research. This technique that I'm showing you here. It works on tomatoes. You're going to want to douse your pepper plants with them. You're going to want to put potatoes. I don't know. I've never grown potatoes, so I've never done it. But, yeah. You're going to want to, after you get your tomato plants in the ground, and after they get established and develop something of a strong root system, you're going to want to do this every 2 weeks throughout the growing season. And remember, after blight has already set in, it is too late. There's nothing that you can do at that point. Alright, so I think we about have this guy covered. I hope you enjoyed. I hope something that I said here, or this technique, helps you and helps you get a big bountiful harvest. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these plants. But you guys take care and happy gardening.